Welcome to Flow Tricks. It is Ken. Today we are going to go over different kinds of passes that you can do to spice up your nunchucks. Before we begin, I'm going to thank Dark Monk. They make amazing fire chucks. I almost exclusively use Dark Monk for my fire dancing for professionals, as well as for training chucks. As you can always see, I'm always spinning the Dark Monk ones. Also want to thank Flow Toys. They make amazing LED chucks, and I can't think of a gig where I didn't have to use Flow Toys products somewhere along the line. Not only that, Flow Toys offers a 5% discount, I believe, if you use the coupon code FlowTricks. So don't forget that. So let's go over, I'm going to go over this very quickly. We're going to go over a multitude of different passes. I thought this would be kind of cool, especially being close to the holidays, that I just fill you with full of knowledge and you can choose what you want to learn. Okay, so the first one we're going to go, number one, is over the shoulder pass. This one you should probably have already down, but just in case, let's go over it. So what we're going to start with the right hand, cross the body like so, touching the left hip. We're going to cross it to the other side, and we're going to swing it straight up. It goes straight up, thumb kind of points down behind my shoulder, and then the right hand just kind of opens up to catch it. Now, first you can train this by just opening your hand. That's with any pass, really. Train it by just opening your hand and slowly getting used to feeling when that hand reaches the point where you can just close your hand to grab it. So you grab it, and you pull it across the other side, pull it up, and do the same. Reach, grab, get the feel for it, and then grab it. Cross the body up, cross the body up. You can go without that, but in terms of flow style, this tends to have a little bit more control for other moves. So I generally say try to go across the body and up as opposed to diagonal. Number two is the behind the back diagonal pass. So as we're doing this move, we can go straight into a behind the back diagonal pass as well. What that is the moment that let's say you do an over the shoulder pass with your left hand, you're going to swing your right hand upwards towards your shoulder like this. So it's moving diagonally, and then you're just going to tilt your thumb behind your back like this. Again, this is going to be diagonal too, because you're trying to control the chuck to land here, but on the back side of your body. When it goes to the back like that, again, just kind of hold your hand open. See if you can feel it out and just go back and forth until you can make that connection. Number three is the under the leg pass. Now we've got a few variations, so let's just we'll go over a few of them. The under the leg pass is basically just a pass under your leg. If we're standing straight forward, I generally say, I'm going to swing my right hand up towards my right shoulder, and I'm going to come down, but I'm not going to come straight down because it's going to be a little bit harder to catch. What I like to do is I like to come down diagonally like this, comes down diagonally like this, and causes the chuck to bounce across the back of the leg like that. So now my hand rests at the back of my leg, and I can grab it like that. So here. Okay, and then the other one obviously is the other way, and the way this works is we can bounce it off the leg like so. I'm going to stand back here, and this one is going to come straight up and over, and it's going to be the same thing. The right hand's going to wait to catch it. You're not going to go straight up or you're going to hit your crotch. You're going to want to go diagonally. So you're going to go diagonally and reach for it like that. So here, swing up, catch. Try it with the other side. Obviously, try both sides. We're just going over this quickly. All right, the other under the leg pass that I like to do a lot is going to be, this is one of my favorites actually. We're going to rotate it clockwise with my right hand, lift up my left leg, and we're just going to pass it like that. Boom. From there, I just grab it with my other hand. Now, this pass may look a little bit odd, but there's a lot of things you can do with it. One is we can just pull it and just redirect it like so. The other one is we can actually push it through and turn it into an aerial. The push through is really simple. We're not going to get into it too much, but you just basically bring it down over the knee and it will cause it to start to fly upwards. Next up, we have the neck pass. Okay, so the neck pass goes very well with the over the shoulder pass. What you're going to do is you're going to cut a very strong horizontal line across until you're almost choking yourself, like that. As you come across, this right hand checks your cheek. You want to make sure that this is here before your hand touches your neck. And basically just hold it open until you can feel it reach, like that. So slow motion, you're going to grab it, and you're going to let go, and it's going to come down, and you're back to this. Straight across, grab. Next one, we're going to do the second variation of the neck pass, and that's after you do the first neck pass. What will happen is the left hand, so I'm passing from right to left. Right hand passes to left. Left hand is going to kind of swing across. Now notice that the bottom of this chuck kind of stays around my chest, so it's revolving 180 degrees. So here, let it kind of revolve around, and this time my hand, this is going to be an awkward grab, but basically my palm is facing behind me and I'm going to try to grab it from behind me. So it's here, grab, from there. Now this may be kind of an awkward grab and you may not know how to get out of it, but my most favorite thing to do from here is to lift my hand up here and then rip. Oops, I gotta do this in flow. So we're gonna go 1, 2, and then this hand's gonna come here and it's gonna rip down, causing me the ability to bounce it. Boom, like so. Next up we have, oh yeah, I don't do this one too often, but you know how you have the under the shoulder passes like this? You can also do an under the arm pass, which is the opposite. So go ahead and do your under the shoulder pass and drop your grip down to about half, even a little bit further if you need to. I usually go about half, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to touch the string to the back of your arm like this. The moment you feel it wrap around, your other hand's gonna reach over and grab like this. So it's here, oops. What you're gonna try to do is kind of trap it. So that's how I like to do it, is I like to trap it. And what I mean by that is the moment it flips over here, my hand pushes down to bring it through. You can try to grab it. I just find that that's a little bit easier for me because I don't practice that move a lot, but it is something to know, which is the under the arm pass. The next one we are going to do, give me just a second here. Okay, this one works better with chain than with rope. It's the snake. It's a snake move. I can't think of it right now because I lost the position on my screen. Basically, you're gonna take your left arm, you're gonna kind of crank it over to tuck it back so the chuck is parallel behind you, and then you're gonna try to drop your shoulder and you're gonna let the chuck roll down your arm until you can catch it. The trick to this again is if you have a chain that'll roll down with the swivels, but if you're using this, you really want to create like a bridge and slowly move your hand down. Slowly get the arm down until this starts to roll downwards. Again, this can be a little bit trickier when you're not using chain because the rope is not going to swivel down. It's more going to like kind of glug down all the way, but still works. Next up, let's see. You're going to have to see me look at this for a second. Give me a second here. Behind the back. Oh yeah, okay. So this one's a little bit more advanced. Let's go ahead and go into this first. We're going to go into syncopateds and then we're going to do this one. Okay, so the syncopated is basically there's two different variations of how we do this. Let's say my right hand is going counterclockwise, my left hand is pointed downward. I'm going to try to get the rope to wrap around the bottom of my hand. The moment it wraps, I'm going to follow the speed of the chuck and rotate it from pointing downward to pointing upwards. The moment it points upwards, my hand is going to let go, my right hand let goes, and it's going to grab the first time the chuck rotates around here. So it's going to look hand down, reach, grab, hand down, reach, grab. This is called a syncopated. The opposite, which I find to be a little bit more fun, goes the exact opposite way. We're going to try to do it the same exact way, except for this time, my right hand comes underneath the left hand like so. My left hand twists downwards. So over here, it twists downward. I got to do it a little bit faster. And then we're going to grab the other side as it rotates over. So here, boom, here, boom. And I like this one because there's a lot of variety and nice, there's a lot of variations you can do with this. But you can mix them together to create a really nice combo. But this, the first one I showed you is actually a variation that you can do behind the back as well. So if I'm standing this direction, I can basically wrap underneath my hand doing the exact same thing right here. So what I'll do is I'll wrap it, and then as I turn, my hand is going to twist over to move with the chuck at the same speed. This one's a little bit more advanced, but you can still pull it off if you understand the first one. The moment I rotate it all the way over, my hand is just going to reach down and grab the chuck instead of my other hand passing it. So it'll look like this. So. Okay, next up we have, what's this? Behind the back to over the shoulder pass. I can't remember what that is. Behind the back. Okay, let's just go. Okay, let's do this one. Roll around to the round kick. Okay, this is a nice one. This is just kind of more of a bounce than a pass, but let's just go ahead and do it anyways. You're doing a figure eight like this, and as you swing downward, you're gonna lift up your leg and you're gonna let the chuck it's gonna kind of like roll underneath your kneecap, and you're gonna put this part right underneath the kneecap, which will allow your knee to actually control the chuck. Now, if you really have it down, you shouldn't even need your hand, but that gets a little bit tricky. So I generally use my hand to keep the chuck straight, use my knee to kind of pull it around. And then there's a few options you can do. Obviously, you can just grab it and take it over. Or the other option is you can stick out your leg like this, and it'll cause it to bounce and roll the other way. From there, I usually do a throw. You've probably seen me do this where I go kick, catch. But that's where it comes from. It comes from that little knee pass. All right, the other one is a transference. Transference is basically where we're kind of taking the force of a nunchuck and we're throwing it across the room. I haven't done transference in a while, but it was a hyper style motion. But basically what's happening is, as soon as I pass it to my other hand, my right hand, which pulled it that direction, is going to flick it the opposite direction, which will allow me to catch it again. So it's a very fast motion here. Here, whoosh, catch. I used to be pretty fast at it. I used to do it with this pass here, which, let's do the other one too, yeah. This is a redirect pass. So this one isn't necessarily a pass again, it's kind of a fake out because you could pass it if you wanted to, and that's back into the transference. But what we do here is the moment we catch it, the right hand's coming across the body, the left hand is gonna pull towards the chest like this, and as soon as the left hand pulls across the chest, the right hand goes the opposite way. It's almost like a crank moving like this direction. And what that'll do is that will create no more space for the chuck to move, so it's gonna fly out of my hand, and then I pull it back. Like that. All right, next up we have the one-handed waste pass. Let's see if I can get this to work. I haven't done this in probably like 6 years. So the one-handed waste pass is basically exactly as it sounds. It's a pass that goes around the waist and you're only using one hand. Rule number 1, you're gonna grip it at the very bottom. Rule number 2, you're gonna go a little bit higher than it needs to go. So if you wanna catch it around here, you're gonna put it up around here. And then basically the chuck is gonna roll and it's gonna lose a little bit of momentum because you're not going very hard. If you go too hard with it, it'll either fly away or it'll bounce off your body and fly away. So you need to go a little bit slower with this move. And then basically you go, like I said, you go a little bit higher and then you grab a little bit lower and just work on that grab. So the two-handed waist pass is very similar except for we use the left hand and it goes behind the back on the opposite end. Again, you're gonna wanna adjust your angles appropriately. And this one, that takes a little while to get down, but it's totally worth it. I think it looks fantastic and you can usually baffle people. Next up is the 360 aerial feint, which is nice. You all know that this is like one of my favorite moves, which is the 360 aerial. But if you do it in succession, you can also do, well, there's a couple things. Remember, I just taught you this one where you can pass it across your hand. That creates a little variety. And the other one you can do is you can catch it with your elbow and create a pass straight from your elbow like that. And now the way that works is the moment that the chuck comes behind your back and it touches the crevice of your elbow, just snap it in, whoosh. From there you can just turn and meet it, walk around, and then you can do whatever you want. You can push through into a throw, you can, I mean there's so many different things, you know. All right, what else we got? Oh yeah, okay. Next one is pendulum passes. And this one what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a right hand, we're gonna spin it clockwise like so. We're gonna grab it. And when we grab it, we're gonna straighten it out to where they're both standing very straight. The aesthetics of this one is very important. Now my right hand, when my hands are crossed, my right hand's gonna push across, and we're gonna grab it on the other side. And what we're trying to do is create like this staircase type of motion. And it takes a little while to get the feel for it, but basically in slow motion, you're throwing it up and you're catching it. You're basically just throwing it over to the other side of your hand and catching it over there, but then you're readjusting to make sure that the chuck looks nice and straight, which will create this nice little staircase motion. Okay. I think this is gonna be good for now. There's one more pass that I'll show you. It's kind of like a pass, it's kind of not, but it's one of my favorite things to do. It's more aesthetic than it is difficult, but it's basically when you go into a behind the neck pass like so, right? If you take your left hand and you grab across it, this isn't really a pass, but what it is it kind of feels that way, and your right hand's gonna kind of push behind it, like you're ready to throw this really wild punch across someone's face. But as you do that, the hand spins across and it comes down into the bend of the right hand. So again, if I'm here, it's gonna look like this. We're spinning across, this slashes down, and then I'm gonna bend it down like so. What this does is this sets up for a pass that is very, very subtle. But once we get to this point, left hand lets go, right hand twists it across the body. This gets pinned into the stomach. We twist it across the body and we grab it to create the grab. So it looks like this. Here, whoosh, like that. So I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget, if you like what you see, we're always releasing videos on Patreon, even if I'm not on YouTube, just because things get busy. I'm running my own company now, doing entertainment. You can always go on Patreon. We have over 110 exclusive videos now with all different kinds of stuff. We have Jason helping out with videos as well. So if you want more nunchucks, definitely check out patreon.com/flowtricks and show us a little love. That'd be awesome. Even if you don't, I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's been a minute, so hope you all are doing well, and leave a comment if you have any suggestions. And if I don't talk to you all soon, happy holidays. All right.